good thing to know. So I can say cancel, and I can go up here and I can find out what this one is. Oh, edge of pavement. Okay, now I'm squared away. So then I want to cancel this. And again, I want to inverse between 135 and 136. And it draws a line with little x's, which are supposed to be some kind of representation of a fence post. So there we have that. Now, I want to edge a pavement up here. I've got a street in the vicinity. So again, I'll probably go back to a continuous line. And the line width, if I want to change that line color, oh, I don't know, let's say that let's say the edge of pavement is black, and we want to make it thicker. So I can go to 5. And I know that these next 2 points, 137 and 138, are the edge of pavement. I think I got continuous, yes. So 136, nope, 137, and 138. And I just made a nice big black line. So you can change the thickness of the line as well as the color. And usually when you're doing all these easements and edge of pavement and all this kind of stuff, if I want to change the character of a line after it's plotted and drawn, I can do that simply by double clicking on the line, and I can change the color. So let's say I want my easements green. I can say okay, and I can change them all to green. I can change the line type. I can scroll up and down. It doesn't have quite as many functions as the properties does, but I can make all of these green pretty quickly. Oop, moved it. Gotta be quick. And you can see that I can't grab more than one line segment at a time because that line is between specified points. So now my easements are green, so we can really get artistic. Now once you have like edge of pavement, I would normally go in and delete the point numbers and the fence. I would get rid of that, the tree line numbers. We don't need those. The only thing you really need trees for, or point numbers for, is your traverse. And you will need one building corner, because I think you're supposed to locate that by 2 corners. I would dimension the building. The 4 points on a straight line, after you do that particular lab, you can erase those. You can actually get rid of all the points on the curve. Those are rarely shown on drawings. And then, so let's now go to change our traverse points. They already exist. So I'm going to go down and find a traverse point. Again, if I type in GP for get point, I can go to, click there, and accept it, and it changes. But you have to make sure that you're on the right point. So you want to read it and see if it's got coordinates, because I could put a traverse point right there. It says determined from drawing, and it means nothing. So you do have to make sure that it snaps to the correct point number. So now we have traverse points. Grids, we've got the grids plotted. We've got the edge of pavement, fence line, tree line, got a curve, a building, some trees. So we probably need to try to contour. Now typically, you're going to have these grid elevations anywhere that's open. So if you have a quad that has a lot of trees and at least one portion of it, every time you foresight a tree, if you have your data collector set up correctly with your total station, it will produce a 3D coordinate for that tree. So it gives a northeast and an elevation. So anything you shoot out in the open would be one of your grid points, which would be because there was nothing or no reason for you to normally target out in the open grass. And we want to know what the elevations are out in the open. So if I had a lot of trees that already have elevations, I need to do the grid in the portion of my quad that has no reason to be targeted, so I have to create that reason, and that's a grid, 50 by 50. So I would try to get ground shots to produce a 3D coordinate. Once those are available, and even if the trees have elevations, which if you look at my coordinate base, I don't have elevations on anything until I get down to the grid. If you have shot the trees, fences, edge of pavement with a total station and data collector set up correctly, those as well will have elevations. So we're going to contour this few points. And you remember in 112, it took you several days probably to contour all of this. And we're going to do it in just a few seconds, hopefully. So we click on contour it, and again we get another database. Anything that has an elevation on it, I'm going to include. None of these have elevations, they're all zeros. So we will skip those and we will pick only these. So I can highlight them, or I can put a point string, 100 through 599, or whatever it may be. So then we're going to accept this, and this thing will go through a little gyration. And what it actually does is some triangulation, so it only is going to put contours only in a small area of my quad. Your next thing is to turn off this 1, 2, 3, because we don't need the point numbers to show up. We're going to turn off this crosshatch, which means it's the triangulation that it does to create the contours. And we don't need the border of the contours because we're going to make our own border. So I'm going to turn off that. So all I have now are lines. But I don't know the elevation. However, when they appear on the drawing in this blank space, there will be a elevation. So then we go to this one, it says finish and return, and it says it was successful. So now I have some contours. Now remember, every 5 feet we index. So there's a 685 and there's a 685. So what we have to do, and this one must be a 684 line. But I would think that this would be continuous. I'm not sure where it goes. So I double click on this, and I'm going to change this to 0.5 millimeters. And I'm going to make it black. Chink. So now I'm making an index line. 0.5 should be strong enough. So now we have a foot mark. So this should be below 85, and this should be above 85. So this is a 686 line, this is an 84 line, this would be an 85 line. For some reason it's got a somewhat of a disconnect here, I'm not sure why. But at any rate, that's how quick this device will do contours.